Makes you wanna go. Makes you wanna go. Na 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 na. Makes you wanna go.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Gab with Goldn Bronze. Hey, Mickey G. Good to see you today.
Good to see you as well.
So we're going to pray. There's no interruption, everybody. Where two of us are at, the weather is inclement, so it's all in God's hands. So we're going to get through this just fine. And we welcome everybody to stopping in to watch Gab with Goldn Bronze today. We do appreciate it because we realize there's any other TV station you could have clicked on today, but you decided to watch DuPont and watch Gab with Goldn Bronze, and we really, really appreciate it. Before I introduce to you our awesome guest, I want to say the Gab with Goldn Bronze is a sponsor of Goldn Swan Cadre, which is a domestic 501c3 nonprofit organization that advocates against domestic violence towards women. Not only that, we do some other good things as well. We advocate for women's health issues, mental health, maternity health, self-care, and mindfulness. And our co-host here will tell you a little bit about Goldn Swan Cadre at the end of the show and some other interesting information, but we'll just get right into it. Hi, Dr. Jackson. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you all doing today?
Blessed, blessed, blessed. Everybody, we have an awesome lady with us today. When I heard her story, I literally had goosebumps and just really, really felt connected to her spiritually, even though I had never met her. But Dr. Jackson, Letitia Scott-Jackson, is an incredible activist who embodies the true spirit of philanthropy. Dr. Scott-Jackson is dedicated to bringing about positive change in the youth and those facing poverty or living in underprivileged areas. She believes that real is rare. That is her mantra. And in the presence of this remarkable woman, you cannot help but feel a sense of elevation and inspiration. And the other thing I want to add to that is I felt a sense of resilience from her. She is committed to uplifting and empowering everyone that she encounters that comes within her path. Dr. Scott-Jackson's life story is a testament to the power of redemption, resilience, and unwavering determination. Her journey is filled with experiences that will undoubtedly captivate you and motivate you. She has dedicated her life to empowering individuals from all levels of society, including the incarcerated, children, and those in search of their purpose. Her transformation from a challenging past to becoming a catalyst for success is truly unremarkable. Thank you and welcome, Dr. Letitia Scott-Jackson, to Gab with Goldn Bronze.
With that introduction, I don't think I need to say anything else. That was a great introduction. I don't know if they came to my website or what, but whoever did that, they did it. I'm grateful. Crazy people always ask me, like, do you Google yourself? No, I don't Google myself. Do you read your web? My husband comes the other day and he was asking me something about something somebody else told him that was on my website. And I was like, well, I don't even work my website. I don't know I know it better be positive, but
yeah,
no. What the engineer did, but hey, she's doing a great job, so she's earning her pay. And I'm grateful for that introduction. Thank you all for having me. I'm always elated when I get an opportunity to share. I say I drop jewels because I try to impart in the people life-changing jewels and just to show them how phenomenally amazing God is and how God takes the smallest things or the things that we think are the worst, and he makes them the most beautiful things when we think it's the worst and you just want to give up. And God says, no, I'm just using this to help groom you, shine you, clean you up so that when I present you to others, that they'll see God, they'll see the God in me, and then they'll want to worship the same God I worship, or they want to get connected to that same creator and that same connect. when I was a drug dealer, I used to look for the best connect with the cheapest prices for the kilos of cocaine, you know. But now I said I was always looking for the wrong connect. My dad was the preacher, and I'm looking for it in the wrong places. And so now that I'm connected to the connect of them all, God is just so amazing. And you know, I could go on and
I
on
love
about
that
how
story.
that's
Well,
what
let's
it
start
is.
off by you. You're so very welcome for that introduction. Everybody always says that when they come on. But let's start off with your backstory. That's where we'll start, so people can get a feel of how you started off in this journey that you're on.
Mm. Okay, well, I am Dr. Letitia Scott-Jackson. I'm grateful for the opportunity again to always be able to share with people, because a lot of people know me from my past, and they know me from being a preacher's daughter. They know me from being a drug dealer. They know me from being a musician for the church. So they know me from a lot of aspects. And when I was young, my dad was an AME preacher. I'm not sure if you all are familiar with that
Yes,
acronym. Me, and then you know they had
African Methodist Episcopal, right?
that's it. And so I was
My mother,
African American. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I said my mother grew up as a under AME. Go right ahead, dear.
Okay, yes. So back then, you know, they've changed now, but back then they were really strict. They had these protocols that you had to go by and all these rules and regulations, and I did not like them. And I was young. I did not like living behind the church. I was over living behind the church. I was done with living on the side of the church. Every time they appointed him to a church, we either stayed behind the church, on side. And I say, Lord have mercy, when I get grown, I'm not staying next door to the church. I promise you, promise you that. But my dad, we struggled. He worked, you know, full time. He took care of my mom. My mom was 14 years younger than my dad, and she was the musician for his church, and I was the musician for his friend's church at 12 years old. And you know, I always say they were pimping me out my talent, because $20 a week to play at the church, Jesus Christ. But back then I thought I was really doing something, but I did not like that, and I didn't like struggling for some reason or another. And so I started selling drugs at the age of 16. Wow. Straight A student. To this day, I've never done a drug.
All right, hold your thoughts, Dr. Jackson. We'll be right back. All right, Dr. Jackson, as you were saying.
I say, until this day, I'm 54 years old now. A lot of people think I'm much younger than what I am, but I've never done drugs, never drink. I always felt like if it didn't make money in life, it didn't make sense to me. And that was just God getting me ready for my calling today. But I started selling drugs at the age of 16, climbing out the window. When my dad would go to sleep, out the window I would go. When he wake up in the morning, I'd be back in the window. And still went to school, still made the honor roll, still played basketball, still ran track, still played for the church on Sundays. And I tell people all the time, I said, drugs are just like, you know, the enemy makes us think we can when we know we can't. He makes us think we can do whatever we want to do, when we want to do it, how we want to do it, disregarding the 10 commandments, disregarding all of God's principles, and that we can just still live and get by like that. And so I felt like that's what the drugs did. You know, the devil had me thinking as long as I didn't sell drugs on Sundays, that I would never go to prison. How crazy was it? But that's when I was a silly sinner. I tell people, thank God I did not die a silly sinner. I'm a saved sinner now, saved by grace. But if I died in the midst of my silliness, to hell I would have gone. So I'm so grateful that God didn't allow me to leave this earth doing that silly stuff, because baby, I would have been messed up. And I'm glad that he gave me, you know, some people say, oh, I thank God for my second chance. Baby, we messed up the second chance way back when. You mean thank God for many chances, millions chances, or trillion chances, or whatever the case may be, because we always doing something that we know that is not right with God. But God blessed me and he favored me. And I'm so grateful that he did that from my mother's womb. You know, he said, I knew you from the beginning of creation, before creation. And he's in the Bible, and the principle says that his anger is temporary, but his favor lasts
Mhm.
a lifetime. So when you got God's
Mhm.
favor on your life, that's just duration. It's no end date to that till he comes to get you. So I'm grateful that he gave me that favor from my mother's womb, because he's given me chance after chance after chance. You talking about selling drugs and living in my dad's house. And I remember I always tell the story to my daughters so that they can understand who they dealing with sometimes when they get out of order. So I was like, do y'all want me to go back to be Chucky? But that's been my name since I was born. So you say
Really?
you all are going by you all's nicknames or whatever y'all call it. My nickname
Yeah.
was Chucky before the dog was ever existed. My dad started calling me Chucky when I was born. And so everybody that knows me from family calls me Chucky. Everybody else calls me Dr. Letitia or Letitia. And so sometimes I tell them the stories, and I was telling them, you know, about how when when I was selling drugs, trying to be sneaky, and you can't get by though. You think you can, you always get caught. But I was getting ready to graduate from the 12th grade, and the police kicked the door in. And that particular morning, the radio was playing, and I was getting ready for my senior pictures. And it was saying that it was going to be a thunderstorm that morning. I'll never forget. And so when I heard the noise, I thought it was the thunder. And it was
Mhm.
actually the police kicking the door in, because
Wow.
they were coming to look for the drugs. But they never knew that I was a girl, because my name was Chucky. They thought they were looking for a boy. And so
Yeah.
Yeah.
my mom was always passive, but she never gave me the benefit of the doubt. Right? My dad, I did no wrong in his eyesight. So when they came in and the people was telling them, and they didn't find the drugs or nothing, so my dad didn't believe it. He just let it go. Then 2 years later, I get busted with 3 kilos of cocaine in his house, 14 ounces of individual powdered cocaine, $3,000 worth of cut up $20 rocks. This is a true story. And my dad had just
Yeah.
gonna take my mom to work. And when he comes back, the people are coming in the house to take me to jail, because they used my daughter's uncle. All of this is in my book. They used my oldest daughter's uncle to set me up. And
Mm.
so, yes, and so her dad had already told me. He was like that person I, slept with him, got pregnant a couple of times, slept with him, didn't like him. He didn't like me. We didn't like each other, but we had a daughter. And so he was a
Yeah.
drug dealer, and I was a drug dealer. And he was like, I'm sending you to prison. And I was like, well, we both going, because we do the same thing. We're in the same line of work. So if I go, we
Yeah.
all going with But long story short, when my dad came in the house and the people were searching the house, I always thought I was smarter than everybody else. I wanted to be that smart person. So I always thought I had all the game, and I would put the drugs in my dad's car because he was a preacher. And I felt like as long as I used him as a cover up, that the police would never search his car. They would never search his house. They would never, do nothing, because he was the preacher in this little old country town. They
Yeah.
came, they busted me with this particular day. I had 5 ounces. That's what I had in the bathroom they wanted to buy. And then I had the kilos of cocaine. And I was 7 months pregnant with my son, who is now deceased.
Oh,
He
Wow.
was killed at 17. And so they were getting ready to leave. And this one particular man, I got to see him last month, and he just cried. He was so glad to see me. He has just now been elected the first African American head of the sheriff department in Shreveport, Louisiana. And he was the one that sent me to prison. And when he sent me to prison, he told me, he says, listen, this is not what God has for you. He spoke over my life. And when he saw me last month, he just couldn't believe I was that same Chucky that from when
Yeah.
he saw me last 20 plus 30 plus years ago.
wow.
Yes.
My dad take the charge thinking he gonna get probation for all these drugs. And they gave him 15 years in prison.
My
Oh,
God.
wow.
So on the day of sentencing, I tried to go back and say, oh, them was my drugs. I don't want he's got a church, he got church members, he got all this stuff going for him. And my mom divorced him because she said that he loved me more than he loved her. and she
Oh my
married
God.
and
Oh, wow.
she married the deacon in the church.
Oh,
And
my
guess
God.
I know, right? And
Is that
so
difficult to tell us? Yeah, that's heartbreaking for your dad and you, you know.
yes, it was. And people always say it's nothing like a mother's love. I can say that because I only had that one son and I have 4 daughters. And God showed me my son was going to die 3 days in a row and I wouldn't receive it. And that Sunday morning while I was sitting at church, June 1st, 2008, he was killed in a car wreck. And God was preparing me, but I wasn't prepared. But a lot of times I tell people, you know, when people see you, they see your smiles, you go on my Facebook, you see all of this stuff. But to go through that, and then my dad take that charge, I was going to visit him every week, every Saturday after choir rehearsal. And then I started playing for his other friend. Now I started the preacher at the church who was the sheriff at the jail department.
Okay, one moment, please. We'll be right back. Oh, all right. Thank you for returning, everyone. So I'm going to let her finish her statement, and then I have asked one question, so I need to ask a few more.
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, the thing
Go
was,
ahead,
he
Dr.
took the charge. I was going to visit him every week, and he asked me, he says, listen, I took this charge for you because I don't want you ever exposed to prison life. He says, you have so much talent. You know, I woke up out of my sleep at 12 years old playing the piano. I can't read a lick of music. I'm having this interview with you out from my music room. Never had a lesson. I play drums, piano, guitar, violin, you name it. I can play it, and I play it all strictly by ear. And I can draw. I've written 4 books. I'm on my 5th book. I mean, you name it, anything with my hands, God had already given me the gift. And I took my anointed hands and hurt people's families by selling drugs because I wanted the fast money. I didn't want to be broke because my dad was a broke preacher.
Yeah.
Well, I told him, I lied. He asked me every time I saw him, he was like, you got to stop. And I'll be like, okay, yes, sir, I'm going to stop. And I'm at the time still pregnant, you know. No, I wasn't
Yeah.
pregnant anymore after that. I had already had my son, but I told him that I would stop and I didn't. And guess what? A year and a half later, I got secretly indicted by the feds.
Okay, that's what I was getting to. Did you go to jail? So you did. All right. Well, I kind of know the backstory, but everybody else will have to buy your book to find out the rest of it. But I'd like to know, my other question is, what inspired you to become an advocate for being a positive change for the youth and those facing poverty and living in underprivileged areas? You know, what
Well,
made you decide that that was going to be your journey?
because I felt like I used to think life was so complicated. And I used to think I used to think that being financially stable was complicated.
Mhm.
Financially sustainable was complicated. So that's why I lived the life that I lived because I wanted it right then. I didn't want to wait. But I never wanted to work for nobody because I felt like if I'm going to go to McDonald's and make $200 a week, what can I do to make $200 a week where I don't have to answer to nobody? You see what I'm saying? So I went through all of the things that I went through. Then to go back to prison October 6th, 2011, for being wrongfully convicted and someone committing a fraud against my business, then I was like, okay, God, and I spent all these thousands of dollars fighting the case. I win the appeal in the Fifth Circuit courts, which people hardly ever do. And I know that God set me there because I woke up one night in the middle of the night and I wrote down the word, keeping families connected. And that's
Yeah.
how keeping families connected derived. And so I took that and said, let me show other people how not to have to go through this.
Okay,
Everybody,
because that was okay.
go
That was my next question, to tell us about KFC, keeping families
right.
connected. Tell us.
Well, Keeping Families Connected is a 501c3 accredited organization where I started in January. It'll be 10 years. I've been doing it 10 years with my allowance. My husband gives me 10% of what he makes from our financial consulting business, and he gives the church 10%. And my 10% has sustained Keeping Families Connected for 9 years, going on 10. I took some of my allowance. I started 13 businesses for 13 kids. ages 5 through 28, teaching them, because being a drug dealer is just being a business owner, and you just buying wholesale and selling retail. And so I took that gift, it's just a gift, took that gift and showed other people, children and young adults, how to take that and make it work for you. But in the same token, teaching them godly principles and teaching them life principles. Because here's the deal: if I give you $10,000 and you have no principles or no morals, you're not going to have that $10,000 very long. Not in a, it'll be gone the same day, because people don't respect their blessings from God. So my whole thing now is to teach you, but to teach you to respect, teach you to change the trajectory of your mindset, teach you that you have to have a spiritual download before you can get those big blessings, because otherwise you won't keep them. So I do free luxury prison trips. I do free mentorship. On November the 23rd, I'm blessing 125 families with baskets filled with everything they need for Thanksgiving, Christmas. Every year I do 300 plus kids. I do 10 single moms, take them to Walmart with their children and let them shop. I just did a summer sandal situation where I bought 350 pair of Crocs and gave them out in the inner city. Easter, 200 Easter baskets. My husband say every time God tell you to do something, it consists of you using my credit card.
But it's awesome.
But I said I pay you back with my allowance, so it's not like
It's so awesome.
you get paid back. You're not giving it to me. So, but that's just who I am and what I do. And we do 3 prison trips per month all throughout the state of Texas. We also do, even though the prison trips are luxury, I got to say that we do luxury prison trips. So I take them like celebrities. We do rent the black SUVs. I have a Mercedes Benz that's wrapped with the KFC wrap. And I do this because nobody brought my daughters to see me the whole time I was this last time. I wrote all the churches and the churches that I heard about when I moved to Texas. And I'm not going to call the church names, but I wrote these churches, the prominent churches, and I started the letter with, across the top, I don't need your money. I need somebody to take my daughters to church. Not one church wrote me back.
That's awful. Oh my God.
Not one. Not one.
Okay. And terrible. Sorry that happened.
Yes, and I told them in the letter, I don't want my daughters, because we was living in Frisco when this happened the second time, and I said, we didn't have big family here in Texas. And I said, and their grandparents died after Katrina, and there was one thing after another. And so I said, listen, all I want my daughters to do is be in church and keep being like they are. I know this happened, but things happen. I don't want them exposed to premarital sex. I don't want them exposed to the streets and the drugs and marijuana and all this crazy stuff. Not one wrote me back. My first book that I wrote was Where the Real Church Folks Said.
I know that's right. That's heartbreaking.
Not the building, the church is you. And if you say you the church and you read my letter and you see I didn't need your money.
Yep, I agree with you.
That's not right. And guess what I did? I turned it into a play. I had Shirley Caesar's grandson in the play. Little Nas X's dad is a gospel singer. He sung in the play. Luther Barnes played in the play with me. We did this play, and it was standing room only on a school night. And then we not only did it in Dallas, but we did it in Shreveport, Louisiana, and it was standing room only. People been asking me to do it again. I just wanted to see if I could pull it off, but I wanted to show people how people are fake in the church, and then at the end, God always has some real people on Sunday.
True. All right, but we're going to take a real quick break, and we'll be right back. All right, everybody. Thank you for coming back to Gab with Goldn Bronze. So that is just really heartbreaking, and it resonates with me, Dr. Jackson. I'm sorry that you had to go through that.
Yes. Well, I do have a question for you. Your story is fascinating to me. I'm on the edge of my seat. Mm-hmm. First of all, I want to know, what was your motivation for selling drugs? Was it because you didn't want to be broke, or you just had this entrepreneurial mindset? What got you started, first of all? And then I want to ask.
I didn't even know listen, I don't even think I knew that word when I was 16. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think I even knew the word entrepreneur or none of
Yeah.
that. I just felt like I didn't want to be broken. I was like, I always tired of the church people having to pay our bills, and I always having to help us with food and this, that, and the third. And I was like, this is just not what I want. But let me tell you something so ironic. I sold drugs all those years, those few years, maybe 5 years or so, or whatever, from 16 to 21. I went to prison when I was 21. I was supposed to get life. That's a whole nother. We hadn't even got there yet. And I sold drugs, and I never could attain. I was telling Goldn Bronze earlier, I never could attain what I wanted. I always wanted that fur coat, that chinchilla that Denzel Washington had on American Gangster. I always wanted a Maserati, and I always wanted a Rolex watch. Those were just like goals for me. And guess what? I never got any of it. I bought some property one time, and I had my dad's church built on that property with the drug money, and then a house with the drug money, and that didn't. And I ended up giving it away later on. And when I got out, this was some years ago, gave it away because I wasn't going to do nothing with it. And my mom and my dad both died, so I was just like, I'm not ever going back there to live, and I don't want to be a preacher per se. So I was like, oh, there's nothing I could do with that stuff. But I never wanted to be broke. And then, but this one guy, when I was delivered from the life sentence, I got 13 years instead of life, federal.
Right. Wow.
That's year to year, right?
Say it again. I'm sorry.
Year to year. You did all the 13 years, right?
You know, this was in 1991, 92. They had a program with the federal government called boot camp, only for federal prisons. And if you got a 13-year sentence, you do 5, you do the 6 months boot camp, and then the other 8 years was on federal paper. But the boot camp was so intense, most people didn't make it through boot camp. Wow. After the first week, you chopping trees in the Sam Houston forest with machetes and snakes crawling over your feet, and you know, all of this stuff. And I had to sleep outside for 15 days. I just actually told my 24-year-old daughter, she's my youngest daughter, about that the other day. She said, Mama, they made you sleep outside. I said, put the whole bed outside, because I got caught talking during lunch.
Yeah. Wow.
So it was so intense. I called my mom, and my mom was, you know, very young. And I told her, she had my daughter. I have an older daughter that's 37, and she had my son. And I said, listen, I'm quitting. Boot camp is not for me. I'm going to have to do the 13, because, baby, I cannot do these snakes. And they talking about if you kill the snakes, they're going to add more time to your time. I'm going back over there where I came from. And she told me, you quit, don't you ever call my house again.
Wow.
And I couldn't talk to my children. And so go ahead. I'm sorry.
Excuse me. I didn't mean to cut you off. I imagine this was a motivation for you to start your foundation. And so you were talking about taking luxury prison trips, etc. First of all, where do you get your clients? How do you run across them? And then I have a follow-up.
Okay. We do social media marketing. When I first started, I just hit the ground running. I started ringing calls from Enterprise. My husband said, you going back to prison, because if you have a record there and mess them people family up. So I didn't even know what a 501c3 was or nothing. I just started because it was a passion, because nobody brought my daughters to see me the whole time. And I didn't want to see other people go through that. So I got out in the inner cities. I'm in South Dallas, Oak Cliff, and we walk in the streets. We got Keeping Families Connected t-shirts, and we just passing our cars. And believe it or not, the drug dealers started giving us money, like, oh, y'all doing free prison trips, and they giving us money, and that just motivated us even more. And now here I am 9 years later. So everything now is digital. You can go to my website, you sign up for the prison trip. I ask you if you have a car. If you have a car, why do you need the ride? You know, what's going on? And we do this consistently every month. But what I do is I do majority rules. So just say somebody called me to go to Huntsville. I speak in Huntsville all the time at the prisons. So somebody may say, I want to go to Telford Unit. Then you got somebody want to go to Abilene. Well, if I got 5 people going to Telford Unit, 1 person going to Abilene, we do the Telford Unit first, and then we put it on social media to get more people to sign up to go there, because I always like to take at least 5 people or more I don't turn nobody down, but to give the trip worthwhile because I'm spending money to do it because we do free breakfast and free lunch, restaurant of their choice.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
That's
are
good.
these clients children of prisoners? Are they family members of prisoners?
Oh, both.
You're taking to see them?
As kids. But I've taken kids to meet their parents for the first time in prison because the moms were pregnant when these men went to jail.
Yeah, that's good. Taking the kids to see their parents. Yeah, that's awesome, Dr. Jackson.
But now I do it as a whole because I have a Hispanic lady I've been taking about 5 years now because we do this consistently. We don't take you one time and not stop. Otherwise, we'll defeat the purpose of keeping your family connected.
Right.
So she has 4 sons. She had 4 sons. Now she only had 4 sons and 1 daughter. All 4 of the boys were in prison at the same time in different TDCJ prisons. And every month she goes taking them grandkids to see a different. She just texted me yesterday, hey, Miss Letitia, I love you. When we going to the whatever Estelle unit or whatever, I think she said, because all of them in different units. So we have to go to a different unit every month.
Wow.
And we've been doing
so she spends every weekend going to prison to visit her boys and taking the kids.
Because we have so many people. Like say this month we'll go to Tafford unit and then I'll take her and them grandkids. Then next week we may have a different family, 2-3 families. You know, I think a couple of weeks ago before I went to New York, my husband went to Abilene, Texas and took a family and I drove to Gatesville and I don't even drive prison trips, but I had no volunteer because he was going somewhere else. So we did 2 trips in one day. Sometimes we hit 3 different prisons. If they're right there in Huntsville, we can go to 3 different prisons. The volunteers drive, but they'll take you, drop you off over here, take you down there and drop you off. And then when your business over, they pick you up and take you out to eat and bring you back.
Wow, that's awesome.
That is awesome. My goodness, that is incredible.
Okay, well, I guess, do we need to take a break, Mickey? And
yes, I think it's time. We'll take a quick break.
All right, we'll take this, the last one. We'll be right back, everybody. All right, everyone. Thank you for returning. So you were speaking, Dr. Jackson. Did you finish what you were saying?
I think so. I think I said they bring them back, take them out to eat, and then drop them back off. I used to when I first started because I was so passionate about it and I was hurt about a church and I just was going to people's houses picking them up. Baby, it take me 3 hours to pick all them people. I got to pick people up and then drive to the prisons. So I came up with a new method. I said, oh no, this is too much. So now what we do, we have everybody because the train stations are accessible. So I have people to meet me at the train station. And I don't even care if I'm not going on a trip. I'm always going to pray the trip off. So I make sure I pray over the van, pray over the people, pray over the drivers, and I come on back to Frisco, or I get on the van and go, or the truck and go with them. But I had to make that more simpler. But I love what I do. And again, this is all year round. So this is not a once a year nonprofit. I've never received any grants from the government to this day. I tell people I'm God's graced, so I'm gracefully grateful for that. But people do, some people donate, and people that genuinely believe in me, they may send, $5 a week, $2 a week or something, or whatever the case may be. I'm appreciative for everything that people do, most definitely, and they know it because they know if they send me $1 and I say I'm having a turkey drive, I'm gonna be in the store going live. I'm getting some cranberry sauce with your $1. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people understand that God blesses whom he can trust. And integrity is not what I do in front of you. Integrity is what I do when you're not with me.
We agree with that because we tell people we'll take $1 up because every dollar adds up. I want to thank you for coming on, Gab with Goldn Bronze. I want to give you an opportunity right now to tell everybody whatever it is you would like to say about Real is Rare or KFC or Dr. Letitia Jackson, how they can donate if they want to. If you need volunteers, this is your time to just say whatever it is you want to say.
Well, I want to thank you and Mickey G, Miss Goldn Bronze, for the opportunity again today. I pray that something I say helps somebody that watches your show. I'm going to share the link also when it comes out in December. But here's the deal. I just want to tell people, don't be deceived by what you see. Don't be so easily deceived, because he who controls images controls the mind. And that's how a lot of people are so messed up in this generation, because everything that you see that glitter, baby, is not real gold. It's fake. And a lot of times we are looking for what it is we need in the wrong places and in the wrong people. You want to get to that next level, and you go and pay for all these expensive courses that these people have already made you think they've arrived, when they really haven't arrived. They're just arriving off of your dollars. So you need to study to show yourself approved in this season, and make sure you seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. And then when you talk to God about it, God is not going to lead you wrong. And if you listen to him with your spiritual ears, make sure you're looking through your spiritual eyes, and then everything else would just start panning itself out. Like, it's no rhyme or reason for anybody in this day and time to be talking about, I can't do it, I'm broke, busted, and disgusted, this man not doing right. No, you don't have to settle. I've never seen so much women empowerment in my life. I've never seen so much independence, people being independent in my life. It's no reason for you to not be where you want to be in this life, because God gave everybody a gift. And he says your gift and your purpose will make room for you and bring you before. It'll open doors that no man can open. You can't even pay for God's connections. So you don't have to do nothing. You don't have to sell yourself. You don't have to fake it to make it. All you need to do is be in alignment with the Creator, and he'll connect you with the people. He'll bring a complete stranger in your life to bless you, and it'll blow your mind. Trust me, I'm a living witness. I get more support from people that never met me, because my story is so real, and real is rare. I'd rather be real and rejected. I'm gonna leave y'all with this. You need to learn to be real and rejected versus being fake and accepted. I don't want to be accepted because I gotta fit in. I gotta get in where I fit in. No, you're not gonna tolerate me. I'm gonna be celebrated. So I don't have to deal with all the extra, because I know my worth. Know your worth in this day and time. Listen, you can find me on all social media platforms under Letitia Scott-Jackson, keeping families connected. That's Google, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Wherever you type that in, I will pop up. And I have 4 books now. I'm working on my 5th book. And the 5th book is titled The Millionaire in You. See, you got to see it. You got to be able to manifest it. And you got to write that thing out. And you got to do something to get something. Don't be running around here talking about, listen, this ain't no name it and claim it type of situation. You're not going down there laying your hands on the car and getting the car. Stop it. It's not happening. You're going to have good credit. You're going to have some money to pay for it. Otherwise, the devil will make you think you can afford it, and then you lose it next month. In 3-4 months when the note due. Stop it. Study to show yourself approved. Let me tell you something. There is greatness in you. Everybody won't be on the same level. Everybody can't be millionaires. Everybody can't be billionaires. Everybody won't be wealthy. But you can be stable and sustainable. And if you want something different, you got to do something different. You got to move different. You got to surround yourself with different. Because let me tell you something. You're disrespectful if you're in the same situation today as you were last year on this same day, this time. I'm just going to say it because God is great. Listen, you guys, I love you. God bless you. And you can find me on those platforms. And I pray that God blesses you abundantly. The kingdom way. Support keeping families connected. It doesn't always have to be about money. You can support with your time, your talent, and or your treasure. Because we're going to be out there November the 23rd, blessing 125 families with Thanksgiving baskets. December the 21st, I'm going to bless 400 children with Christmas. I just ordered 100 pair of shoes this morning. I think I just told you that. I woke up like, oh, let me order these shoes right quick. So we're going to be giving away free jackets, free shoes, toys, underwear, socks. I just do it all. The main event here in Frisco, they turned the bowling alley into like a Christmas winter wonderland for me. And I make it look like a store. And you just come in and you just get your stuff and you go. You get your blessings. So that's what it's all about. God will bless you when he can trust you. And if you're not blessing nobody and you wonder why you're still in the same situation, it's because if he can't trust you with $2, you're not getting the 20. And I'm going to leave you with that.
And you dropped the jewel right there. You and I are going to be connected some kind of way in the future. This is not a one-on-one and that's it. And we're done. It's not going to be that kind of a party. But you know what? You said the most that I think anybody has ever said that has been on this show. You dropped some valuable information that is better than any financial advisor could give to anybody in the few words you just said.
I know we about to go, but it's no reason why I'm being a drug dealer. I have to say this because somebody need to hear this, because people think you got to have money. If your credit is bad, it doesn't matter how much money you have, because we have clients that are cash rich but credit poor. NFL, NBA players, wealth advisors, people that have it, but the Bible says your name is more important than silver and gold. So I'm gonna let y'all ride with that one, because if your name is more important than silver and gold and your kid is hungry, you need to be able to walk in somewhere and sign your name and get something to feed your kids with.
That's right. That's right.
Right.
So I make sure everybody around me has good
jewels.
Yes. Even the people in my mentorship program, I've taken them, had my husband to take them out of the projects, put them in houses behind golf courses, open up credit accounts with the credit unions, and teaching them. Every kid in my group has a debit card. My grandsons 89 have checking accounts. So it's no reason not to be pouring into our children. But then we as adults, we wasn't taught this as young people. Nobody taught us this. But now when you know better, you have to do better. And if you want to see your generation blessed, you got to be blessed in order to bless them. And that's just what's real.
And that's what's real. And I thank you so much, Dr. Jackson, for taking time out of your busy day to come on our TV show, Gab with Goldn Bronze. And we know that all that information you just shared is valuable information, and a lot of people are going to be able to hear it. So thank you so much.
Bless you. Thank you, guys. God bless you, and I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Thank you.
That's right. All right. Take us on out, Mickey T.
All right. Thank you for joining Gab with Goldn Bronze. I want to let you know, because Gab with Goldn Bronze is a sponsor of Golden Swan Cadre, I'm going to let you know a few ways that you can donate to this worthy cause. First of all, if you're using Chime, enter $ Golden Swan Cadre. The G, the S, and the C are all capital letters. On PayPal, enter thegoldswancadre@gmail.com. Go to our website, look around in there and see what we're doing, but you can donate there at www.goldswancadre.com. Also, on social media, go to Instagram, visit the charity section to find the official _ Golden Swan Cadre. On Facebook, also visit the charity section and find Golden Swan Cadre. Join us in making a positive impact today for worthy women who need your help. Now, I do have a little bit more housekeeping to tell you. Gab with Goldn Bronze is expanding. We are now on Village Global Network Radio every Saturday at 12 noon. So tune in to listen to us and then come back here to see us. And we'll see you there. We're looking forward to it.
Thank you, everyone, and come back tomorrow. We'll have another interesting guest. Bye-bye.